Hello, my name is Jeremiah Simeon. As you know, I've been watching the news. I've been watching the weather, and I've been through a lot of hurricanes. I've been through an earthquake before. I've been through tornadoes. I now understand that we have gotten to a point in this country, or should I say this world, where we have put our 2 cents in and destroyed this earth that we living in. A lot of people want to blame a higher power, or should I say people want to blame Jesus for things that's happening. I feel a lot of things that's happening is because people have made mistakes in this world. A lot of people, especially wealthy people, I believe everyone in this world has made mistakes. And I believe in this world, everybody deserves a chance. I understand that we are living in times of, it's digital. Information is out there. But I feel as though we shouldn't, as a society, as people in this world, we shouldn't have to bail out everybody in the world. We shouldn't have to give up everything in society. I feel as though people make mistakes. There is a cause and there is an effect. And if you as an individual have made mistakes, then you have to figure a way out. I feel as though government intervention will only make things worse in society. People, let's put our heads together and let's come up with plans, ideas. We may not be able to live in this earth that we call home. We may be here only for a short time and we're gone. Let's remember this, people. Thank you. I used to get high. Well, when you're in an abusive relationship, or should I say, when you're a teenager and you have an abusive ex-stepfather, then you start drinking a lot. And you think that's going to solve your problems. I think people in the world do that. And they think that's going to solve their problems. And actually it doesn't. So, just to let people know, when you watch these documentaries or these stories about information that I push out, I'm going to tell you, basically, you shouldn't drink your problems away. Your problems never go away once you drink it away. All you have to do is just try to solve your problems the best way you can. When I was a young boy, I used to be scared of these horror films, or these horror flicks, if you want to call them, or movies. I never really liked them. When I got older, or should I say when I was in my 30s, I loved it. I just don't know. I guess you get used to watching these movies. As you get older, these movies seem to be not as scary as they used to be. I don't know if a lot of young kids out there in the world are usually afraid of these horror films. At one point I was. I remember when I was a kid also, I used to use one of those night lights. I used to be scared of the dark. In my 20s, I hadn't been scared of the dark for a while, but I used to be when I was a kid. I never really wanted the lights to be turned off. So I remember my mother and grandmother always had a night light, and I used that. I guess some children, I'm sure around the world, have been afraid to to go to sleep without having a night light. So I understand that part. I'm sure there's a lot of kids that used to drink rainwater. I used to be one of those kids that used to do that. I remember being at least 10 years old and doing that, drinking rainwater. Actually, you're not supposed to drink the rain because of the acid, or specifically it's called acid rain. But as a kid, and I think a lot of children don't know that, and that was something I did. I don't know if I'm the only one. I hope. I probably hope I'm not, but I'm sure there's a lot of other people, or should I say young children, that have done that. Well, in 1987, I had my tonsils removed. I was playing in some water, but I think since I've been having a cold, I used to have the cold. See, when I was a kid, my body would be subject to a lot of infections as a kid, I guess. I didn't usually have a lot of vitamins. I probably didn't eat the right food as a kid. And I think that hurt me. But when I was a baby, my mother had told me I had the whooping cough. And maybe I'm thinking years later that it kind of hurt my immune system, because children's immune system, or should I say babies as well, their immune system are not fully developed. And I think as I grew older, especially as a teenager, I mean, my throat was always sore. I was always sick. And I think it, like I said before, is due to the lack of nutrition. I didn't eat the right foods I should have. And now I guess I paid a price. But as I got older, I decided to start eating right. Start doing things that I needed to do to enhance my immune system. When I have any job, any type of employment actually, I always do my best, the best that I can do. I am cocky at sometimes, or should I, let me put it this way. When I am employed by any employers and I prove to them that I'm worth keeping, then sometimes when they need me, and I know they need me, I will be cocky sometimes. I don't know why, but I usually am. So I'm sure I'm not the only one, because I'm sure there are people in this world that are cocky about any and everything that they do. If you know you're the best of the best, you will be cocky. That's the truth. In this world, I do like to test people. See, if somebody would tell me, or let's say anyone in the world would tell me, I'll have your back. You know what I believe? You should have it. But I do test people. See, a lot of people tell me stories, different stories about their life, or people would tell me different things, and I would test them to see if they are true. See, I'm a type of person that I would test you to see if you are real or if you fake. I mean, I believe that Jesus does the same thing to every one of us. See if we're real or if we fake. And I think that's how you can tell a person's, should I say, characteristic or personality, or any details about a person. You can tell just by the way they act. If you can tell, my hair is long. See? The sides, on the sides. You can tell. It makes my mother happy. My mother always said that I don't never see you have any hair on your head. We never have hair on our head because we always shaving it off. Especially during the summertime when it's hot. But this time, I let my hair grow. So, I guess I make her happy. Like I said before, I wish I had a rich family. I wish I married someone that was rich. Sometimes you wish that you marry into a wealthy family. And like I said before, money is not everything. And sometimes it's good to be able to be content and pay your bills. But it just all depends, I guess, on the individual. Like I said before, I wish I had a rich family. I wish I married someone that was rich. Sometimes you wish that you marry into a wealthy family. And like I said before, money is not everything. And sometimes it's good to be able to be content and pay your bills. But it just all depends, I guess, on the individual. I did at one point as a teenager cut hair around my midsection, or should I say where my cock penis, whatever you want to call it, is. I did as a teenager. Let me tell you something. It grew, man, 2 times as much hair. So, I mean, hell, I don't even wear any underwear, drawers, or whatever you want to call it. I used to wear boxers at one point, briefs, and those skimpy underwears. Or should I say those, it's like briefs, but they are kind of shorter than briefs. So, that's basically it. I always thought about enhancing my penis, cock, or whatever you want to call it. Or if you say dick or whatever you want to call it. I thought about it. Sometimes when any individual, I guess you look at all these different commercials, especially as an adult, with these adult products, and I think sometimes you want to do certain things to your body to enhance it. I guess sometimes exercising, bulking up and stuff like that, I guess it depends on one's state of view, or an individual state of view. Sometimes people look at the outside appearance and they don't understand the inside appearance. Or should I understand, they don't know your heart or your mind, but they only look on the outside. I guess as a kid, you kind of think about racism. And when I started pretending in the entertainment business, when I was a kid and I started pretending in the entertainment business, I guess I kind of only pretend of my characters to be in bright skin or white or Caucasian or whatever. I never really thought about my characters to be any other racial background. It's not until I was a teenager, should I say till I was 14 actually, till I started doing a diverse characters. I guess you could think of me as being almost kind of racist to a certain point, but then I guess you learn at some point not to be. I think everybody learned not to be. I guess when you look at the outside of someone and not the heart and the mind, you don't really understand that person and you judge people according to their actions or personality or characteristic, and you don't think about what's going on in their hearts and minds. Sometimes you don't. And I think instead of judge somebody on the outside, just give them a chance and try to understand what's in their heart and in their mind. You never know. Okay, as a kid, by accident of course, I'd asked my mother for some candy and she told me no. And I did put the candy in my pocket as a kid by accident. And I was depressed really because she told me to go put it back, and I was going to put it back. And then, like I said, I remember putting it in my pocket, and just by accident, when we shopped through this, when my mother was finished shopping and we left, I started feeling something in my pocket. And when I got home, it was the candy by accident. You know, I think children do accidentally take some things like candy by accident. It's something they don't want. They want, and parents say no. I guess I also, at one point, I was in my 20s. I remember taking a wallet from a store years ago. I was in my 20s. And I thought about what a cousin of mine did. His name was Jose Guillory. I remember him going to a store and taking do-rags, if you want to call it, or handkerchiefs, if you want to call it. And I thought about that, and I did do that. But basically, it was a wallet that had been already opened already. It wasn't even in the case. It was just lying there on the shelf, open. I don't usually do that, but I think at that point, I really needed a wallet. I didn't have the money. I shouldn't have done it. It's something I shouldn't have, but by accident I did. And if I could say anything, I probably would say sorry about taking anything, because I don't usually do that. It's not something I do. Well, I mean, when I was going to this technical college, I did needed ink pens and pencils, and I did go around, not even just technical college, but college, going around, I guess, these different empty classrooms and looking for ink pens and pens, because I remember not having any. I guess when you don't have any money, or you work a part-time job, you don't have enough money, sometimes when you go to school, there's certain things you need, certain supplies you need, and you don't have it. And by chance, I did take some of that, and I shouldn't have. I remember when I was a kid in 4th grade, I remember eating my, if you want to call it booger, snot, or mucus from my nose. I did. Boy, that should be embarrassing. I think there's a lot of things that I've said in all these documentaries I should be embarrassed. But it's just to get to know who I am as a kid. Because once you read my autobiography, you'll get a feeling also who I am. So I did do that. I shouldn't have. I guess that's why I was sick a lot too as well. I just realized that. Well, I remember when I was a kid, I went to catechism. As a young kid, I was Catholic, and we had to go to catechism. I remember the nuns there did not play with you. Man, that was something. But not only that, I had my first communion, and I had my I went to school, or should I say, I took the class for confirmation. So, as a Catholic, there was a lot of things we were taught. We weren't really taught about Jesus mainly. We were kindly talked about things that he has done. So we didn't talk about who the man was himself. When I was a teenager, starting college, I remember one time being very horny, I guess like any man, and I started jacking off to a picture of Tupac. And I mean, I guess at that time I was kind of looking also for a hookup. I guess at college I was kind of what you call the outcast, and it seems that I didn't have any real friends or anything, so I guess it's hard to fit in this world sometimes if you think about it. Yes, I remember also playing with some neighbors of mine, like Rashard Benson, who I found out later on he was a cousin of mine. And my brother wanted to also play with the Januso's children. He wanted to play basketball with Chris Januso and his brother DJ, and also Lance Januso. And I didn't really want to play with the neighbor. When I was a kid, I didn't really want to play too much with the neighbors because I knew how neighbors are. As a kid, I had it in my mind that the neighbors were kind of, they didn't really like you, and you shouldn't. And one time when I was a teenager, I remember I videotaped. What happened was I wanted to videotape this movie, and I left the back door unlocked, and I was supposed to stay with cousins of mine, Horace Gillerin and Rose Gillerin. And I remember when my mother and stepfather had to leave, I didn't even know my grandmother was coming. And all of a sudden, that young boy, Lance, came, and the story I told them was I tried to get him out the house. I didn't even want to be bothered with him. I don't know why he was trying to be bothered with me. And then we kind of, I guess, fooled around with our clothes on. Not even really fooling around. But as a kid, you kind of think of your sexual orientation. You think of who you like, don't like, and you try to figure out your racial background, who you are, basically as a kid. I think a lot of kids do that.